Hello and welcome to the Celebrating Life podcast with Sony Thomas. Let me invite you to a small thought that can create a big impact for you in celebrating your life. In today's episode of Small Thought, Big Impact, we explore how our results in life are a function of the questions we ask ourselves. As my son was growing up, I would try telling stories from my childhood instead of reading from the storybooks. One story that I remember, The Crow and the Water Jar. Most of us might be familiar with it. How on a hot sunny day, Crow was flying through the field in search of water with no luck. Each time the crow spotted some water, there would be something horribly wrong that the crow couldn't get water to quench her thirst. Finally, seeing a jar of water from the sky, she zoomed down to it, only to realize that the jar had a tall neck, so her beak couldn't reach the water inside the jar. To solve her dilemma of the jar, she asked herself, what can I do to raise the water high enough for my beak to drink from? And that is when she got the idea to drop stones into the jar. Have you wondered how our nomadic ancestors settled down? Anthropologists believe that the shift from a nomadic life began with a series of questions. One such question is, how can I get the water from the creek to my cave? You see, our ancestors had a similar dilemma to solve just like the crow. They would live their life around a water source and move to find the next because they could not settle anywhere without water. The collective question that was asked by everyone back then was, how can we find the next water source? In time, one person asked a different question. How can I get the water to me? The slight change in how we see a situation, and if we are brave enough to ask a different question, it might just give us a result we might not have gotten otherwise. You see, instead of searching for the next source of water, the answer to the question, how can I get the water to me, opened their eyes to see a new solution that was otherwise hidden. The question brought out a paradigm shift in how the water problem was perceived. Think about it. It is this crazy ancestor having asked that simple question, how to get the water from the creek to my crib, that led to the initial settlement from the nomadic life. And now the cities that we enjoy, especially the convenience and comfort of deliveries, are an outcome of that question. Even the simplest task of deciding what to wear is an outcome of the question we ask ourselves. Imagine getting ready for a date night. You ask these questions. What will be attractive on me? What will seduce the other person? What will be comfortable for me? What is trending now? Each of these questions will reflect a different choice of clothing and the attitude you wear along with it. Therefore, literally wearing your questions. You would have observed that in each of these examples, the outcome was a function of a question that was asked internally to overcome an obstacle or aid in the decision-making process. That, my friends, is the power of the questions. The small thought is, by changing the question you ask yourself, you can change the results you achieve in your life. Celebrating life is about the journey. And if I have brought value to your journey of life, I urge you to share the small thought with a close friend, a family member, or even a colleague so we can together build a happier world. For more thoughts on celebrating life, I invite you to stay connected with us by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the Celebrating Life community. Thank you for your time and make it a wonderful day.